Okay, let's finish up these notes. Okay, so we have a negative exponent here, but this one works out well in the wash because when we have a negative times a negative, we get a to the power of 21, and when we have a negative times a negative, we get b to the power of positive 6. So that worked out really nicely. We didn't have to worry about the negatives there. Okay, so this one's a little bit tougher, okay? We know that this negative 5 has to go to that numerical coefficient because that really has that invisible exponent of 1. We have to remember that from grade 9. It's going to go to the c to the exponent negative 4. It's going to go to 2 to the exponent 1. And then it's going to go to the d to the exponent 3, okay? So this one is going to be a few steps. We're going to get 3 to the negative 5. Then we're going to get c to the power of positive 20. So that one worked out nicely. Then when we go to the bottom, 2 to the negative 5 and d to the negative 15. And this is how I approach this question. I take a look at what's okay. And usually I have a sort of a highlighter when I'm doing these notes, but I don't. So that one's okay. Everything else has to move to its opposite location. We have to write its reciprocal, okay? So this 3 to the negative 5 is currently in the numerator. I'm going to throw it down in the denominator, and then it becomes positive, okay? I'm going to take this 2 to the negative 5, currently in the denominator, bring it upstairs, 2 to the power of 5. The c to the power of 20 was a-okay. I should be using the word exponent there, sorry. And then d to the exponent negative 15, if I move it to its opposite location, its reciprocal, it becomes positive. Okay, that's probably the toughest question we had on there, one that you might not have a whole lot of experience with, okay? Okay, this is one that I know is from grade 9. Okay, so we have to remember that anything that's raised to the exponent 0 equals 1. So this answer is 1. We did a lot of work with this in grade 9. Now this reads negative 12 raised to the exponent 0. This answer is 1. Now you might think that the answer here is going to be 1, but this reads differently. These two things different, and you can see clearly one of them has brackets, the other one does not. Now sometimes in elementary school we talk about how an exponent sits on the shoulder, okay, of what it's going to affect. So this 0 is sitting on the shoulder of the entire thing here. That's why it's equal to 1. This actually reads subtract 5 to the exponent 0. So there's only one negative that shows up here. It's negative 1. The only thing being raised to the exponent 0 is that 5. Okay, and we'll do multiple examples of that. Okay, you should have remembered that from grade 9, but if you don't, we need to go over that. Okay, so now we get a quick little review here. We have something to the negative exponent. We remember that when you have a negative exponent, you write the reciprocal of the base, and the exponent simply just becomes positive, so it's not that hard. So remembering that everything really sits over an invisible 1 as a denominator, so we're going to get 1 over x to the exponent 11. And this is sitting over an invisible 1, so we're going to have 1 over 5 squared. And I don't need you to give me the answer, we're just practicing this. And it's a negative, it's sitting in brackets, that's okay too, sitting over an invisible 1. So we're going to get 1 over negative 6 to the exponent 1. And then here, sitting over invisible 1, we're going to get 1 over negative 7 in brackets, and then the exponent just becomes positive. So that should have been a quick little review. Okay, so now we're going to move here. Powers of quotients means we have a division question with a negative exponent. So here what we're going to do is we're just going to write the reciprocal of the base, and then the exponent becomes positive. Not asking you to solve these, just showing you what you do to get started. Okay, we have a negative 1, we're going to write the reciprocal of the base, exponent becomes positive. Okay, we can have letters, we don't always have to have numbers. So the reciprocal of x divided by y would be y divided by x, exponent becomes a positive 1. And we remember from grade 9, we don't need to write those are usually invisible ones, but we're going to write them in anyway because we're just practicing. Got a negative 5 here, so we're going to write the reciprocal of the base, y cubed over x squared. Okay, it's in brackets, we need to keep it in brackets, that's important. If we didn't, then this 5 would only be affecting the y cubed. We want the whole thing done. Okay, so now we're going to roll it all together. Okay, we've got products and quotients of powers with negative exponents. So what we're going to do is we're always going to take care of the negative exponents. So here, if we just flip this, bring the y to the top, it becomes a positive exponent, x becomes positive when we move it to the denominator. There's nothing we can do there. We don't know what the values are for x and y, so we're done there. Okay, is anything here positive? That's the first thing I look for, and the answer is no. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I draw my line here, and then I just move everything to its opposite location. That's the reciprocal, its opposite location. So the 3 to the negative 5 currently in the numerator, I'm going to bring down to the denominator. The 4 to the negative 9, I'm going to bring down to the denominator. Everything that was in the denominator, I'm going to move up to the numerator, and it becomes positive. Okay, that's all we have to do. Don't overthink this. Okay, so this next one is a little bit weird. So again, I always locate the things that I'm not going to move first. And then I simply draw my line to delineate my numerator from my denominator. I'm going to leave my x to the exponent 14 and my 3 to the exponent 5 because I'm not touching those. And then I'm going to move everything else to its opposite location. This 2 to the exponent negative 7 moves to the denominator where it becomes positive. Okay, the y to the negative 3 moves to the bottom where it becomes positive, and then I simply take whatever was in my denominator and move it up to my numerator. And that's it. So you just move things to its opposite location. When I teach this in grade 9, I always talk about the basement and the upstairs. That's how I talk about it. Okay, so there's a 1 here because we can't just leave it hanging like a matzo ball. Okay, if there's nothing in the numerator, that's not acceptable. We have to actually write in that 1. So the 1 is fine. The x cubed is fine. The only thing that's a problem here is this y to the exponent negative 4. So it's currently in the denominator. We're going to move it up to the numerator. And then we can get rid of that 1. That 1 is just holding that place there. So y to the power of 4 over x cubed. Okay. Now you could leave that 1 there. Technically it's not wrong. We just tend not to do that. Okay, we did really well there. We got through the 4.6 notes. Okay, if I were you, I'd look through them a couple of times.